All set? Okay, we'll get started with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good evening, everybody. And just a few kind of house cleaning things before we get started. A few announcements that we always make. There's emergency exits in the back and on the side of the room. Restrooms are through the double doors in back as well. Those of you that haven't had a chance to sign in, there's an attendance sheet in the back when you first walk in. Let's see, if we all need to silence our cell phones, including myself, because sometimes I forget to do that. And we have a recording system here so that we can keep accurate minutes. So anyone, when you want to come up to the podium, if you can just kind of speak clearly into the microphone. And also when we're referring to things, whether it's in drawings and maps, try to use, compass directions versus over here and over there, because it's really tough, after today for people to kind of listen to the minutes and understand where over here and over there is, right, when there's just there's nothing in front of them. So if you can kind of pay attention to that. Other than that, just want to ask the board on for the approval of the minutes for May 6th. Were there any questions, comments, issues? If not, I'll make a motion to approve them.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? You in or out, Larry? The minutes? Abstain?
Abstaining.
Abstain? Okay, there was one abstention, okay. Unless anyone has anything we want to address now, we'll call up Mr. Paul Redhead. Okay,
Yeah, my name is Paul Redhead, and I live on 687 Brownsville Road. Working on a pool house, and I need another year extension to finish it up, to complete it.
okay. We'll kind of go through and ask a few questions, but I think just the main one would probably, the obvious one is this the last extension that you need, or can you maybe walk us through?
So I've been working out of state for the last 10 years, so
Okay.
I made it home 2 times in the last 2 years, so I don't get home much to finish it. So I started it, it's all roughed in, the roof's on, the windows are in, it's all but 3 windows, sorry. The basement needs to have a garage door put on the basement, poured the concrete in the base slab. So it's got a few loose ends to wrap up, but the structure's sound. The roof's on, it's not gonna leak, the windows are in for the most part, so.
Okay, so you think
But
this,
I think a year's time, just to get it, to pass
Get
for,
going?
anyways, for the permit.
Okay.
Yes.
Fred, we'll kick things off with you.
Well, I think with that, assuming you do get it done, it's all right with me.
Hey, Larry?
I just want to clear something. We're not talking about a pool house anymore, right? You're talking about a storage
It's not gonna
shed?
be a pool house. I'm gonna probably fill the one end in with sand, level it all off so it brings it up to the, height, almost the window height.
Is that-
Floor, regular floor
Is
height.
that the original?
Original was a pool house.
It's the same structure?
Same
It's
structure, just they're gonna fill the pool in, you're not gonna have a pool
So,
there,
yeah,
so.
he's calling it a pool house, but the pool was in the house.
Yeah, it was in the
It's
building.
not an accessory structure to a swimming pool.
Gotcha.
The pool-
Okay, it's a timber
so
frame.
He's proposing filling in what was to be an indoor swimming
Correct.
pool.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, thanks. Nothing else.
Yeah,
Yeah, no questions. They were all answered.
okay. Is it, I think we just need a resolution to approve to grant the extension? So I think I've got a pretty good understanding of how everyone's gonna to vote on this, so,
Move to approve?
yeah, motion to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good luck with your project.
Great, thank you.
All right, Mr. Hardy. Good to see you again.
Marshall Hardy, 7590 North Road, Victor. I had requested at the last meeting a variance for frontage on North Road with two parcels. One parcel would have a 20.73-foot frontage, the other 39.06.
Did you get a chance to review the county?
I,
I mean, it's okay. Yeah, they came back, basically no action, so
right.
nothing hindering us from moving forward as we normally would today. Fred, I'll start with you again. Any further questions for the applicant? I mean, the last I recall, I mean, maybe to summarize, was as a board, we generally seemed okay with moving forward. I think we wanted to make it clear in the minutes that this was kind of the last time we'd like to see this subdivided. I think three's plenty. I know you've
Guarantee you that I won't be in here requesting another subdivision.
Yeah, but we want to be on the record in case.
I understand.
Any further questions, Fred?
Well, is the right-of-way 60 feet all the way?
I think it's a three-rod road, 66.
I saw at least 160, but there's a lot on the map. I'd like to have the whole thing be 60.
You're talking about how wide is North Road? Yeah, I think
Driveway,
it's 66 feet.
66? That's the only question I had.
Okay, Larry?
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
Okay. I really don't have any further questions, but I'll go through the criteria. Those on the board, correct me or, add comments as you see fit as well. Again, to walk through it, number one, whether an undesirable change would not be producing the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by granting of the area variance. Creation of the area variance is not going to be adding another driveway. It's going to use the existing driveway that's there. It will add another building lot to the parcel, but it will not have any impact to the road or entrance to and from the three parcels as well. Any?
Is
We're good with that?
it possible to put in the minutes that it will always be just one driveway? Against the possibility that someone might want several egresses to, I don't know, can't imagine why they would want to do that, but.
We can talk about it when we get to the conditions. Maybe we can talk about it as possibly a condition, if that's something that you're okay with.
I'm fine with just the one driveway. The purpose of having frontage out there was in case there was an issue with the access easement and Hatfields and McCoy type thing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, next, the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. You're looking to subdivide it. There's plenty of acreage out there. This is really the only way to do it.
Yeah.
3, the requested area variance, I would say is substantial, although it's not the only, the main criteria in this case. You're asking to take and subdivide, let's see, the existing 36-acre parcel into 2 more lots, a 9.5 and a 29.7, as well as the frontage that you're asking for is reducing, instead of 100, I believe you said it was 66 for each of those.
One parcel will be 20.23 and the other will be 39.06.
Okay. Number 4, the proposed variance will not have an adverse impact or effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Again, no no impact in terms of access to the road. The driveway's going to be the same. Obviously, there will be another dwelling on the parcel. There's plenty of land to support that.
And trees and bushes will still line the long driveway into the property, so there will be no environmental change.
Correct.
And then 5, the alleged difficulty is self-created just by nature of you needing to or wanting to subdivide it. Larry, you mentioned having a condition that it will continue to be one driveway access only to the parcels from County Road.
If that's okay with you, yeah.
I mean, we're trying to prevent a
One driveway,
situation.
in and
Just a
out, works
technicality,
fine.
so in case anybody comes back and says, we'd like 3 driveways, then we can say, no, you only have a variance for 1.
Again, I doubt that that would happen because of the topography, but never say never.
Well, these outlast all of us, right? You know, the variances, so if you're okay with that, we'll add that in as well.
Would you like the condition also to be that it will not be subdivided further?
I think we can state that in the minutes. I don't know if we need that to be, if that even could be
I think it
a condition.
Would be a condition, but that's on you guys.
I'd like to just state it in the minutes. Like I said, I'm not sure we can make it a, you know, someone else could come in front of us with new facts or something else. I just think we should,
I think someone can always
Great.
ask. Yeah. So having it just in the minutes is acceptable.
Okay. Okay. Whereas an application was received by the Secretary of the Zoning Board of Appeals on April 9th, 2024, from Marshall Hardy for an area variance for lot frontage as stated in Schedule 2, height and area requirements, subdividing the existing 3.3 acre parcel into 2 lots containing 9.5 acres and 29.7 acres, be approved. Do I have a motion for the approval?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Or did we get one out of you? Yea or nay?
I thought remaining silent would be a good
Or
idea.
abstain? Abstain, okay. I
I approve. Didn't know you'd be listening that close, actually.
Nothing gets by me, Fred, come on, you know that. Okay,
Thank you.
resolution approved. Good luck with the project. All right, the Smith project. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Venezzi. I'm representing the Smiths for their project on Stoneleigh and County Road 9. Currently, there's 2 parcels. There is 421 County Road 9 and 5 Stoneleigh Trail. They bought the parcel 421 with the intent to subdivide. During the process of going through different options and the zoning requirements, we got to the point where we would like to request a 3-lot subdivision. With the density calculations, that puts us at, we are only allowed 2 for that 421 County Road 9. So the request is to add an additional buildable lot off of Stoneleigh Trail. The current 421 has access off of County Road 9. The odd configuration of some of the lots there, we 5 Stoneleigh Trail will retain that southerly private driveway agreement that's there. There's a right-of-way for the southerly parcel to get access to County Road 9, so they want to keep that to keep any of the burden on their property and not cause burden for the other properties that flank on the east and the west. So the project is, there'll be 2 lots off of Stoneleigh Trail. The current access, 421 will create a driveway off of Stoneleigh Trail. The other lot will be off of Stoneleigh Trail, and then County Road 9 will have access off of the County Road 9. There's septic, there's sewer, water, and all public utilities available to the 3 new additional building lots.
So lot 1 will have access directly from Stoneleigh, And then the other two will have the.
Yes, so lot one will be off of
Lot 2
Stoneleigh.
and 3.
Lot two, we're gonna create the access off of Stoneleigh because it's so close there and it's a nice gentle entrance that'll kind of run parallel with that retention area to the southeast. So we want to kind of create a new driveway for Stoneleigh and I'll keep that, that'll be the access for Stoneleigh off of the lot two.
And Adam, the requirement is that each one be on 1 acre?
I think,
So in the B overlay, it's required to have 2 acres per living unit. So it's 0.5 living units per acre. That is just density overlay, that doesn't have to do with minimum lot size. It's just the amount of acreage you need to subdivide. So if they were only requesting a 2-lot subdivision, one of those lots could be a half acre and the other one could be 3.5. Each lot doesn't have to be 2, you just need the 2 for the density.
Okay, in here, each one is supposed to be 2.
No, so here, they only have a little over 4 acres. So you would
Okay,
need
so technically
6
2.
acres
Gotcha.
to have 3 lots.
I'm just thinking how to best quantify the amount of variance you're asking for, right?
Right, there was also, when the Stoneleigh Trail subdivision was granted, they did have the easement and conservation areas set aside for density, so, off of that, so.
Okay.
As part of the overall project that was Stoneleigh Trail. We just believe that 421 was not part of that original property, so
Okay,
it didn't get kind of added to it.
okay. Let's start with Leah. Leah, what questions do you have?
Okay, the first question for lot one, okay, lot one, you said earlier the driveway is going to be on Stoneleigh Trail, correct?
Correct.
And lot two, also, that's on Stoneleigh Trail, and that's where the existing house is?
Yes, that's where the existing house is. Currently, their access is off on the southerly portion. There's a
Right.
private driveway there that accesses the 421
Right,
and then County Road 9, and then also the property to the south.
yes,
So we're going to create a driveway to come off of there to make it a little bit more accessible.
right. And so the driveway that comes off County Road 9 for Lot 3, and that's going to be for Lot 3 and the owner that's across the street.
So-
So are you going to close off that existing driveway that goes all the way down to Lot 2?
No, that is not that current driveway is also, if you look closely, there is the southerly lot that is the adjoiner to the south. That is also part of that current driveway. So what we're proposing is to create a new driveway off of County Road 9
Right,
for Lot 3. So Lot 3 will be its own driveway access, and then we will remove the access off of the current house. So there will be,
Right.
that driveway will be only accessed really by the southerly property that uses it now.
okay. So it still goes all the way down to the
Yeah, it'll
entrance of
stay, and
that other
it'll be used by
house.
the neighbor, correct.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason that you have kind of that, how the additional land that 5 Stoneleigh will retain is kind of includes that private driveway, because we didn't want to have any kind of that burden on the other 2 lots.
Yeah, okay. And, I saw on the application that there are some wetlands in the area.
There is the drainage area to the southeast of Lot 2.
And did you do any environmental impact to see if,
We did not, because it was already an existing house, and it was where there would be potential disturbance in new building, we were outside of that kind of limits.
They would have to go through the major subdivision process.
that?
So that, all
Maybe
that,
combine
yeah, they were just
Anything else, or-
not going to do that ahead of time without receiving the variance.
No, okay. Let me see, and you answered the question, it's going to be serviced by by sewer. And then to have the driveway entrance for lots 1 and 2 on Stoneley Trail, do you have to get any approval to have it there? You know, because that's a separate development.
Right, but it's a town road, so we do have access to it,
It's
yeah.
Okay, okay,
It's not a private right-of-way or anything like that.
okay, that's all I have for now.
Larry?
I guess I'm having a little trouble understanding this map. There's a lot 3 to the left that I'm looking at. There's a lot 1, and then there's a lot 2, but there's remaining land.
The remaining lands will be attached to 5 Stoneley, which is their current house they live
So
in.
you see that little hash mark going across the line between, just south of,
That one? Oh, okay.
like a Z hash mark? So that it's hard because of the line weight you used. But that red line that says original lot line would disappear. It would become
Got it.
all one parcel.
So you have the 2 lots that were the 3 lots that were subdividing off, and then the remaining lands will be attached to 5 Stoneley, which is the current house, in the middle of the property at the north side.
So that existing
This is
two-story
the-
house.
This is the house of the people who are requesting a variance. Is that correct?
They own both houses from what I
They live in the one off of Stoneley currently,
Okay.
the larger one off of Stoneley, yes, that's what that's the residence,
This house parcel isn't factored into,
correct.
there's already 2 existing lots, and there'll be 2 additional lots. Those 2 are coming off this one parcel here. It just gets a little confusing because they would dedicate some, or, redefine some of the acreage to that other lot.
May or may not be relevant, but these 3 houses here, and this is, and I'm pointing at the 3 houses, the house where they live in, and then the 2 next to it. Do these other 2 meet the 2 acre?
They're part of a separate subdivision, so.
Okay, so we're
that was
talking-
Yeah,
of the
Stoneley
subdivision.
they have no bearing on this.
When that was done, they did the 50% reduction or 40% for their.
It's 50%.
50%.
And you'll have to meet that again with your new subdivision.
I'm okay for now.
Fred?
I think this is a big ask to approve this. And I'm semi-confused. I'm basically not ready to vote on it anyway, because I'm not ready.
Sure. No,
Is it gonna
so,
go
so,
to-
so everybody knows this has to go to the county, so we're
Good.
not voting
So
tonight.
can you,
Yeah.
I can use the time.
Okay, you have plenty of time. Any questions for the applicant while we have them in front of us?
Wish I did, but I don't.
We can come back, we can come back to it. My biggest question is, what would this look like if you had to adhere to the code? What
We
you
would
do
just
differently?
remove one of the lots, probably the lot between 421 and the 2 existing houses. And then they would,
The one that-
the
the one that's
5
on
Stoneley
Stoneley?
would retain that.
The one that's on Stoneley
Correct.
Trail? And that would stay part of the house that they currently live in?
Correct. The goal is kind of keep Stoneley the way it is, there's the same size lots that are there, so as you flow through the neighborhood, it doesn't look like it's out of place. You'll come around that right-hand turn, there might be a house there in a wooded setting kind of, so it wouldn't really affect the overall feel of Stoneley.
But today, all that land is part of which parcel?
It's part of 421. Everything but the main house on 5,
So it's part of the single-story home
on the south, yes.
on the south, okay. I understand it now. I really have no further questions. I understand why, obviously, you want to do it. I do want to get a chance to ask the public if there's anyone here that wants to speak for or against it. Come on up and, You just state your name, and if you live
Yes.
over here, let us know where you live, and
Daryl Balker, 423. I'm the property that they refer to the south. So anything, a mirror image of what you're looking at on this side. I sent a note to you earlier in the week. I guess it was last Thursday for that matter. But I do have a statement I'd like to share if I could. Ladies and gentlemen of the zoning board, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I stand before you to express my strong opposition to the requested zoning variance for 421 County Road 9. The zoning regulations in place serve a crucial purpose to maintain the character, integrity of our community, ensure public safety, and promote orderly development. Granting this proposed variance undermines these principles and sets a dangerous precedent. I find it difficult to understand why this committee would even consider such a proposal that creates four, not 3 parcels, of which grossly violate zoning regulations. Firstly, the proposed variance threatens the character of our neighborhood. Our community is built on a carefully considered balance of residential, commercial, and public spaces. This balance fosters a sense of identity and belonging amongst residents. Allowing this variance would disrupt this harmony, leading to potential overdevelopment and a change in the neighborhood character that could be irreversible, as this proposal is not short of a mini subdevelopment, as you've been indicating, just in disguise, so to speak, right now. Secondly, the variance would have significant negative impact on property values, near and dear to my heart. Current homeowners purchased their properties, including myself, with the understanding of the existing zoning laws. Altering these laws devalues our investment and can lead to a decrease in property values affecting every resident in the vicinity, not just myself. This is not just about one property owner's request. It is about safeguarding the interest of the entire community. For many of us fixed incomers, our home is a significant portion of our retirement assets that we cannot afford to arbitrarily be devalued to benefit someone else. Moreover, there are legitimate concerns about the environmental impact. The one house will obviously take out the woods that exist there today. We have drainage issues. Zoning laws often include provisions to protect these green spaces, manage traffic flow, and ensure adequate infrastructure. By granting this variance, we risk exacerbating issues such as increasing drainage issues, traffic congestion, strain on public utilities, and loss of green spaces that are vital to our community's health and well-being. Additionally, the principle of fairness is at stake here. If you grant this variance, it opens the door for future requests, creating a slippery slope where the exceptions become norm both here and across our community. From where this proposal variance is drawn, with the existing right-of-way inexplicably attaching to the 4th parcel, one can only surmise that the intent of the requesters is to be back in front of this committee further down the road, asking for another variance to break off parcel 4 when they decide to downsize and sell their residence, if they indicated to me they are considering once their daughter graduates next year. If this variance is allowed, it will have prepared that slippery slope of precedents that they would be able to hang their hat on. This undermines the rule of law and the trust residents place in this zoning board to enforce regulations impartially and consistently. In conclusion, this zoning variance request should be denied to protect the character, property values, environment, and fairness of our community. Upholding our zoning laws is essential to maintaining the quality of life we all cherish. I urge you to consider the long-term implications of this decision and reject the proposed variance. Thank you for your time. Appreciation. Any questions for me?
thank you. I'm okay.
Okay.
Am I allowed to talk?
You can talk directly to us, sure. If you want to, please step up to, we can't hear if you have to be in front of the microphone.
I just wanted to say, first of all, he's not part of the neighborhood. He lives off of the private drive. And if we got the Stoneleigh Trail driveway, we were actually going to sell the driveway to him. That was like our second part of it. But we are waiting to see if we got the Stoneleigh Trail driveway.
Okay.
So if you think we're not putting another lot, we are trying to make the value of our house more valuable by adding more land.
Okay. Anything further? We can't vote tonight, obviously it has to go to the county. Unless anyone has any other questions up here, when will the next?
So the county meeting is June 12th. So the zoning board meeting following that wouldn't be until June 17th.
That'd be the next time, yeah, be in front of us, we'd have the county comments, and we'd be able to vote on it that evening. Unless there's other questions for us, or we as a board
Real
have any
quick,
further
it
questions?
is just a 3-lot. There is no intent to put another building lot there. That would even increase the zoning variance that we would need to be 4 instead of 3. So there is no intent. The intent is to hold the property behind the house, exactly behind the house, to protect that house from any future development. That was one of the purposes. And then also, by doing this lot change and changing some of the driveways, we are going to take some of the congestion off of County Road 9, off that private drive, and give some to Stoneleigh where it does come to a stop sign. So there is a little bit of that involved in it, so.
Because,
but there is no,
because of the entrance to the,
right. So you're not going to have, 2 family, occupancies coming in and out of that private drive any longer. You'd only have 1. So that's the only thing I wanted to add.
okay. Okay, so we'll see you in June then. Thank you. We have light comms up next. In the same situation as the previous applicant, it has to go to the county, so we won't be able to vote tonight, but it was the 17th?
Yep.
We'll be back 17th?
Okay. And then you'll have the comments like we will, and we'll be able to proceed further. But if you could tell us about the project, and we'll go through the same thing, ask any questions, and then go from there.
Sounds good. My name is Link Swedrock with BME Associates. Andrew Colaratolo is here with me from Lightcoms to help answer any questions. So we're here to request a front setback variance for the front setback of a proposed 20,000 square foot building off of 251. So the project was originally, we were designed a building in the back, and we had all the approvals, site plan approvals, everything meeting all the setbacks. And the U.S. Army Corps, we met them on site, and they regulated a big chunk of wetland in the back, which is shown on the plans we submitted. So we're looking to, and the Corps actually said, why don't you propose a building in the front? And said, well, we needed a front setback variance. But because we're in the 251-96 overlay district, the front setback requirement is actually 25% of the lot depth, which in this instance is 278 feet because of the configuration of the lot. So basically underneath the underlying LI zoning district, we only need a 75-foot front setback, I believe, 80 feet front setback in the light industrial district. So what we did is we sort of we pushed the building back as far as we could, and we're requesting 175-foot front building setback for the proposed building. And we're meeting all the other setbacks, side setbacks, variance, green space. The property, like I said, is 7321 Victor Menden Road. The existing building is there right now. That's where they're operating in the rear. This is additional support to their business. And so we're proposing the building in the front, parking in the rear. We are looking for that front setback variance to, like I said, put the building in the front to support their operations. They're growing drastically, which Andrew can talk to you about any of the sort of the company and how they're growing. But we also supplied you with an aerial exhibit of the area showing all the setbacks within this area, existing building setbacks. And with our application, which shows that a majority of the buildings are closer than that in the area, especially on 96. They range from anywhere from 38 foot off of 96 to 100 to 70, 74 feet, 100 feet. The buildings on the other side of 251 are range from 93 feet to 161 feet. So we're actually greater than majority of the buildings in the area with the 175-foot front setback that we're proposing. We also, in our letter, we provided a response to the 5 criteria, sort of with that aerial in support of our 5 criteria, and also the sort of the feedback of the wetlands and things of what led us here requesting the setback variance. With that, I think we're going to be, we wanted to come and talk to you because they do want to try to go to the planning board and go through site plan again. Like I said, we had full site plan approvals on the building at the previous location before, so. And with,
So I understand it's 175 versus 264, right?
278. I had an error in the
I had
268.
264
You had 264?
was your minimum. I'm pretty sure I took that off of your plan. Or I did the math. One of the two.
Well, it's, there's one side of it's 1,000 feet and the other side's 1382. So 25%. I think the 278 was the greater.
So 264 is what's on your application. And I think that I checked that math and you were accurate.
Okay.
Can you help me understand why you just couldn't push the building back closer to the existing building?
There's a wetland there.
Oh, okay.
See the wetland line that comes out?
Look on this map here, it's delineated by the,
We pushed it as far back as we could, but you see this guy here? That's a wetland there.
would also like it to be closer to the other.
Yeah, we pushed it as far back as we could.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
this is the only variance you're
Only-
seeking for the
only-
site, nothing for signage or parking or?
Only variance. Our intent, as before, was to meet all the code requirements, so it's just because of the characteristics of the lot, really, that we're
No,
doing
I
here.
think the aerial in the comparison that you provided is very helpful to show in terms of,
The relationship of the other ones,
Yeah,
other
that-
buildings in the area,
comparison to the neighborhood.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share before I
I don't think so. I think
board
we'll
loose?
help answer questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the existing building is going to stay, correct?
Yeah, the existing building is right there. We're just expanding some parking back there. So this is mainly their offices now and some of their warehousing. This will be used for more of the warehousing, and then we're gonna increase some parking behind the existing building, and this is still gonna be operating, and this will be, more of a support to the office and the business.
Yeah, so right now we operate out of that 8,000 square foot building, but then we also lease 20,000 square feet out of Perrington Square Mall. So back where the old Tops was, and we want to bring everything back to Victor.
Yes, yes.
I didn't hear a word of that. Could you,
So right now we operate out of our 8,000 square foot building that's there, but then we have a satellite office in Perrington Square Mall, which is where we do most of our production, so we're trying to bring all that back to Victor.
And you're also adding then parking spaces in front of the building. That's
Yeah.
Correct.
on that
Yep.
side.
That parking is just what they we tried to split the parking based on their needs.
Right, right. Now, when the Corps of Engineers came and, talked about the wetlands, and I understand all about that, because a long time ago, I worked for the Corps, but not in the civil works, so I didn't do anything about that. But did they, how long have you been on this site?
2 years.
2 years. So that building predated,
Yes.
you going there, so, yeah, because I was going to ask you, what did the Corps say previously about the wetlands? Did they put any restrictions, or?
No.
But you're only there
It
two.
was in a check area, so they came out to look, and we just think that because of, essentially the assessment is because of the other development in the area, it kind of made our wetland a little bit broader than it had been previously.
Did the Corps of Engineers say anything else you would have to do other than you can't build, within that wetland area? Did they say anything else you have to do, other protections or anything?
No, we'll just need to get the jurisdictional determination letter from them agreeing on this delineation, and then, yeah, they'll have to stay out of it.
Okay,
Unless they get a permit,
yeah, okay.
which they probably could get a permit. They said they could probably get a permit too, because the wetlands aren't real high quality. And I even think they said that, but they are regulated wetlands.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's the only question I have for now. Thank you.
Larry, any questions?
Help me out, guys. It looks like you could take the building and put it in front of the other building, close to the existing driveway. Well, but that's the edge of it, isn't it?
You got to be so far from, what do you have to be, 75 or?
Okay. that
How
answers
far do
my
you have to be
question.
from the wetland?
Well,
Roughly.
100 feet buffer, but I'm not sure what's delineated there.
Okay.
And that's just a recommend, like, that can not necessarily be necessary, but even I think if you put this building here, you're not gonna get, they'd still need a variance.
Okay, just,
And there is a tributary that's not regulated that goes in between those two buildings. See that culvert? There's a culvert that goes under the driveway, in between those two buildings.
oh, okay.
And so we don't want to really disturb that because it's draining sort of the outfall or from the wetland. So it's
No,
not,
it's fine.
not necessarily regulated, but it's an intermittent.
Got it.
And we also wanted to locate this building because they need this 120 foot because this will be loading docks for the trucks. So they need enough room to be able to get a truck to stack here and keep their entrance open.
And you're going to put the parking in the front, and you're going to come off the existing driveway into that parking lot. Okay, I'm fine, thank you.
Fred, what do you think?
We've had buildings closer to the side yard before. Sounds like it's good for Victor, so I'm kind of in favor of it.
Okay. I see no issues in terms of impact to the neighborhood. Like I said, I think the map you provided was,
Yeah.
makes it relatively straightforward in terms of
Yeah.
character of the neighborhood and your relativity,
So,
relative to the closeness, or to 251. The wetland makes it somewhat unique, right? And that you can't just put a building anywhere on the site. And so I think that, those two things alone, make it get my support. Obviously, we can't vote on it tonight. June 17th would be the next time they'll be in front of us. Unless you have further questions, we just need to wait for the county to come back and either provide some guidance or not.
If I could add a comment, Matt, too, because they've already come with an application that we're gonna put the building where the wetland is. They had already started that process, and it wasn't until the Army Corps came in and said, no, you can't. So they were trying to do a code compliant means of this project, and it kind of got shut down.
Yeah, sorry, just to kind of expand on that a little bit. So we worked with the town because we make military communications equipment, and we have a DX rated order from the United States Marine Corps. And essentially what that means is we have to deliver to them in a certain amount of time, or they'll essentially come in and take over our factory and then deliver to themselves. So it's kind of a serious thing. So we were trying to build the building as quickly as we could, which is why we can't wait for the what is it called, the permit, essentially from to build it where it is from the core, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our last ditch effort to get the variance, otherwise we have to kind of find a place where we can do the work.
Okay. Great, I think, I do have to ask if there's anyone for the public that wants to speak for or against the application. We'll obviously keep the public hearing open, but do need to ask the question officially. Is there anybody online that had any feedback? No, okay.
I have just one question. Since you went through the permit process and you started it, how did the Army Corps of Engineers show up?
Like, when did they come?
Since you were already starting and how did they did they come out of the blue? or-
No,
Yeah,
we,
go ahead.
we submitted a delineation
Okay.
report for them. We knew there were wetlands there. We knew the
Oh,
town would require a JD. The planning board actually conditioned the site plan approval on the jurisdictional determination from the Corps. So the Corps came out to review the delineation, and then they ended up, it's very, if it was a different person, it might have been a different wetland area. So it was very, I would say it was very hard to determine where exactly the limits were. So they came out and they verified, they actually brought two people with them to come out and walk it to delineate and show where they wanted to regulate.
Yeah, they never made it to building permit, they were at site plan. Okay,
Yeah.
so we didn't issue a building permit, and then,
No.
We just had the planning board approval and a condition for the JD, which we were working on simultaneously to try to keep them moving along.
Okay, thank you.
And we had also submitted just a rendering of the building. We went out and did that pretty quickly because we know now we're in a different situation where we're a little bit closer to the road, where we'll keep all the trees we can because we also want our building to be private. But essentially, it doesn't look as nice in the rendering as those in pictures, but we're going to match the facade of our current building with the new building.
Okay, any further questions? We'll see you on the 17th.
17th. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
I don't have anything further. Does anyone have any questions, comments? I think we'll have Mike back on the 17th.
He'll be back on the 3rd.
On the 3rd? Or, I'm sorry, we'll be back in time for the 17th, I should say. All right. I heard a motion to adjourn. Do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
I was just wondering, did the